The Federation of Light. Upgrades. Good morning. I feel strangely lightheaded this morning, and I think it's because of you and the incoming channeling. That doesn't usually happen. Is there a reason for this? Good morning to you, Blossom, and a warm hello to all who read this message, at whatever time of day or night. And yet, time does not exist, so as we communicate with you now, even if the message isn't received by others for a few days, it is received as if it is in this very moment of reality that you and I are sharing. You say you and I. Are you the Federation of Light? Yes, we are. However, we have chosen to use I for ease. As I write this, my head feels even stranger, which makes me think something different is about to happen. It is. Therefore, we simply ask you to let this conversation unfold as usual, and all will become clear. That's easy for you to say, but I just had to close my eyes for a few minutes. I really don't know what's going on here today. I'll hand it over to you. As we connect with you, and with every one of you, we are guiding you through an energetic upgrade within your entire system. The feeling of lightness manifests as the energy speaks to your body and gives you instructions regarding this upgrade. And this wave of heat that's suddenly happening? That is your body adjusting. Are you saying this is happening to everyone, right now? Or will it happen to them while they read or hear this message? It will happen at a time that is opportune for each one who has reached the required level of vibration and is ready to receive it. Some may feel/experience it like you. For others, it may happen while they sleep. For others still, it will not happen at all. And yet, this is not a recognition of how far along a person has come in their being of light, nor that it is happening now and they are aware of it. It will happen for each one in the divine moment when their being is ready to accept it. So, just to be sure, it's not you specifically transmitting this energy? Surely it will happen to many who have no idea you exist, right? Correct, Blossom. We're simply explaining to you what is happening to you now, so that when it happens to others, it may be understood and integrated in love and understanding of what is taking place. Okay, so once it's complete, what happens? What difference will it make? I mean, will we feel the upgrade? Indeed. In a way, with a lighter, brighter state of mind. Your senses will be sharper, and inside you will have the feeling of literally being upgraded. We would say it is more of a feeling of knowing yourself better, and why you are here. Not in a, oh, here's what I need to do sense, but a knowing that instills a sense of comfort and security. The awareness of being on the right path. It's an inner feeling, a sense of thankfulness. It's not something you'll want to shout from the rooftops, and yet it carries that same euphoria of joy. However, you will choose to silently express gratitude for having felt this feeling. If you experience it, you will understand what we are talking about. The senses are speaking to you at a higher level. You will feel more connected to your true reality. You will understand better why you are here. And yet, as we say, it is still not time to take concrete action and get moving. It's more of a silent reflection of feeling more connected to home. This upgrade allows you to know that the love you are, the love you know is truth, emanates from you without you even having to think about it. It is simply there, doing its duty and helping everyone you come into contact with without even trying. During a channeling session last week, one of the energies that came through said, "Let love look through your eyes." I liked that. It was somehow different from "let love shine through your eyes." And yet, Blossom, by allowing love to look, your eyes will radiate love. This shift within you will be felt by others, by smiling and being the fuller love you know yourself to be now. And we can say there is much more to discover. You will touch a spark deep within them. Think of the wonders of that. Your smile can wake you from sleep. That is truly a beautiful statement. You don't need to do this consciously. You just need to know and allow it to happen. And it will. You have worked so hard to keep your light shining even when you felt your flame had almost gone out. Because of your deep dedication and vigilance, you have persevered through the toughest times. You have wanted to throw in the towel, as you say, and yet you have always managed to pick yourself back up and keep walking. The moment you recognize and feel this genuine upgrade, you will know it was all worth it, despite every minute of suffering you had to endure. That's very encouraging news, and I certainly don't want to dampen the enthusiasm. However, I'm guessing the suffering isn't over yet, is it? We would say that any suffering that may await each individual will no longer be classified as suffering. I'm not sure I understand. Could you explain that better? What one may encounter on their path, because of the soul's elevation to a higher frequency, will not be perceived or seen in exactly the same way as past experiences. When one encounters such obstacles along the way, the soul is able to overcome them with a much greater understanding, coming from this higher level, and therefore, going through such trials will not seem so unattainable to the senses of the heart. It's just that, thanks to this upgrade, a greater understanding of yourself, and indeed of the divine plan, will allow you to become more attuned to the music of the universe. This enhancement, this higher energy, is a feeling, a knowing, as we said, a feeling of, finally, change is happening. Because you will truly feel this change along with you. Accompanying all of this will be the most light-filled synchronicities. Magic will be offered to you in gifts both great and small. The more you align with these energies, the more magic will manifest. This magic will bring with it immense joy, greatly amplified from what has already brought you joy in the most divinely simple ways. Dearest souls, do you perceive it? Do you recognize within yourselves this exchange? You mean change? If you mean exchange, can you explain better? Certainly, and yet you know. We mean the exchange. The more love you feel, and allow yourself to be and give, the more love is returned to you from the divine in many magical and miraculous ways. Okay, yes. I understand what you mean. You're using the word magic a lot. You haven't used it much before. Because the days ahead will be filled with magic. Let love see it through your eyes. Let love feel it in your heart. The magic of the purest divine element can manifest in your life in ways still invisible or perceptible. Remember that we have said many times that although your world seems increasingly upside down, in this context, one must not despair. Because as all this happens on the other side of the coin, to use an appropriate expression, there will be the most wonderful discoveries of the soul, capable of elevating and enlightening. Indeed, you said it just like that. And now, as we are together at this moment, my heart is perfectly in tune with these words. Thank you so much for today's gift. Blossom, and every one of you, we thank you. Those people on your planet who are playing such a crucial role in the upgrade, the elevation, the raising of an entire world that had sunk into the mud of darkness, and through your love, is emerging once again into a light so bright and full of hope, joy, and magic. Beautiful. With gratitude. In loving service. I am. Monadic Retrieval and Embodiment, dear ones. Many of you are now going through the final stages of Monadic Retrieval as we enter this new fiery passage, which will culminate in August. A process that began last year with the rehabilitation of our monad from all galactic influences and traumas, and which now continues with the complete activation of our diamond crystalline cord, moving from our golden aspects to diamond ones, as a result of the fusion of our silver cord with our divine selves, restoring our umbilical portal and all your 8th, 9th, and 10th dimensional bodily light channels. In that phase, some of you, if it is destined to happen and divinely orchestrated, will also merge with your divine monadic equal or twin, whether physically or monadically, as all of us, at some point, merge with our twin monadic consciousness, even if only as an inner process on our path of self-integration and unification. Disconnecting from the 3D matrix and the 4D astral plane is essential, as many of you have the Hara line connected to the 4D astral dimension, rather than to your divine self. Even if you initially feel you are connected to your soul, you are actually only exposed to false guides and many other illusions from this plane. This disconnection marks the beginning of soul and monadic reconnection, a process that involves the complete dismantling of all spiritual distortions/illusions, programs, and anything that obscures truth. The moment you achieve this conscious reconnection, the descent of further monadic soul fragments begins, an immediate process that we all experience when our physical bodies are ready to embody more light, wisdom, and power. A process not to be confused with a walk-in experience, because when we embody our monadic consciousness, or part of it, we may also experience similar processes, such as personality changes, shifts in tastes, reassessment and recalibration of relationships, and many other changes that occur as we become more complete, and our monadic fragments also adapt to our physical body and the reality we have created. This process of monadic descent is what many of you, as I often see, are experiencing now, feeling completely dissociated from your old self, remaining in your soul portal, aligned with your divine presence, to continue recognizing your authentic self as the egoic one allows for greater integration and ceases resistance to this new incarnation. On a physical level, when we reach this phase, the integration of transmissions from our central sun will be fundamental to continue feeding our light body with the plasma and diamond and silica interdimensional frequencies that we are descending from parallel dimensions. As we undergo this monadic descent process, Our ancestral baggage begins to heal. We become what we truly are and what we came here for. And our mission is finally revealed to us, because our mission is not given to us until our divine self knows that we are ready to act with divine love, consistency, and integrity towards all living beings. This is a time when many are already ascending in physical form, reuniting with everything you are, understanding the simultaneous nature of existence, and that what we have called past, present, and future is nothing but a simultaneous hologram of all the lives we are living concurrently. And that is why we often feel we were someone else in another life, which is real, and at the same time, not entirely. In this second half of the year, we are experiencing an unprecedented activation of our 12th dimensional light bodies, like never before. A period that will determine where we will definitively anchor ourselves in time and space, as 2027 is a decisive year for anchoring Earth's new timeline, from within, with every thought, feeling, and action. In July, a powerful sacred geometry in our skies, known as the cradle or basket, between Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter, will be crucial to open the doors to new interdimensional essences, supporting our physical ascension and spiritual growth amidst all the duality we perceive, as an organic consequence of now seeing everything from a wider dimension. It is time to lay new foundations for the new Earth, stabilizing everything we have already created and focusing solely on what expands light, not on what limits it, avoiding distractions and neutralizing any attempt to divert our attention and intention from what is truly important: our personal and planetary evolution. May you continue to hold the higher vision of a new Earth for all, dear ones. Within infinite love, Natalia, Alba. Angel message: the tide is turning, dear friends. We love you so much. Breathe a sigh of relief, dear ones, and pat yourselves on the back. Your world is turning a corner. The shift is subtle, almost imperceptible, and yet very real. You will feel it as a strong desire to focus on your own life and dreams, paying less attention to the world's challenges, unless, of course, you are personally inspired to help create solutions. You will notice it as you witness increasing synchronicities in your life, bringing you help and support, seemingly out of nowhere. You will notice it as you see a growing number of people showing kindness to one another, engaging in cooperation, and celebrating their common humanity rather than fighting over differences. Slowly but surely, the energy is shifting, and you're part of that shift. And this shift was inspired by the extreme contrasts you have experienced. When things get dark on your Earth, millions of people pray. When you are exposed to enough negativity, eventually people get tired and return their focus to the life right in front of them. When you are overwhelmed by seemingly unsolvable problems, eventually you surrender to the present moment and deal with what you can. And when there is so much division that you can no longer stand it, you decide to be the peace, the love, and the kindness you seek. This is exactly what is happening on your Earth. So many are tired of conflict, tired of division, tired of the constant stream of bad news, that one by one you are pulling away from it all, making the all-important decision to focus your attention on your lives and what you can do to be part of the solutions, instead of exhausting yourselves by focusing on the problems. Your world has reached a tipping point where enough of you have chosen to empower the light and stop dignifying the darkness, and many of you will begin to see improvements in your lives. More kindness, more synchronicities, and more of what you have desired flowing to you. It will be a subtle shift at first, then it will gain momentum. Pay attention to these positive shifts. Celebrate them. The more you notice and appreciate them, the more you will experience them, opening yourself to the new flow of energy and love pouring into your reality. Of course, the energy you emit is always the determining factor for what you experience. However, when the collective vibration of humanity is dense, you have to work harder to keep your energy in a positive state, whereas when it is more relaxed, it will be easier for you to tune into higher vibrations. Not everyone on Earth has made the transition to a spiritual, soul-centered perspective. Many are still being manipulated and controlled by what they see in the world. Sometimes you still feel that way too. When you feel down, grant yourself kindness and understanding. You are not bad. You are not wrong. Simply, in those moments you are not allowing love in. All of this can change in an instant by focusing on something kind, comforting, relaxing, or pleasant. When you elevate yourself in any way, you open yourself to a greater love in every form. As more and more people among you decide they deserve to feel good, to live a happy life, and to be the loving ones you are, your world will continue to evolve in a more beautiful direction. Many of you already live in this kinder world, despite the collective consciousness. Many of you chose, long ago, to look for what is good, beautiful, and true, instead of letting what is presented to you convince you the world is lost. Dear ones, you live on a planet that loves you, created by a source who adores you. You have angels guiding you and more human beings than you can imagine who wish to have a similar experience of love, peace, and joy on your earth. Let your love-filled hearts emerge. Be the kind souls you are. Say a little prayer for wounded hearts. Appreciate nature. Be grateful for the simple pleasures. With every acknowledgement of the beauty, truth, and goodness present in your human experience, you open yourself to more. One soul at a time, your world is once again turning towards greater light, and you, dear ones, are part of this shift. Be grateful. You are more important than you can imagine. God bless you. We love you so much. The angels. We are changing deeply. The energies and energy fields of the new earth are expanding dramatically and exponentially. This means that, because we are changing so rapidly, everything is in a state of total rebirth at levels we are not even aware of. When a seed sprouts, the immense life forces of creation are at work in this process. The seed not only sprouts but needs to use the life forces to push its way through the soil and find its way to the sunlight. This is exactly what is happening to us now. We are that seed and those cosmic life forces working with and through us. The waters are helping us in such powerful ways, because, in addition to holding memory, they also hold the imprints and blueprints of the new sacred waters, making their presence tangible as never before. As we become more and more conscious, more and more is revealed. I have been shown how new cycles and spirals upon spirals of new creations are flowing in from the great central suns and suns beyond suns, and this is triggering long-dormant faculties within us at the highest levels. We may not even be aware of it, but we are changing deeply, in every form and way, known and unknown, and therefore now completely in the unknown, yet fully known. This can lead to feeling at the mercy of the waves or just barely floating, but here our intuitive knowledge guides us, along with the inner source. We cannot use the old foundations, now obsolete, to build a new life and new beginnings. We must now create the foundations of the new life, with the new cosmic building blocks, which are of much higher quality, not dense but fluid. Conscious energy. There is an abyss of knowledge between the two. Everything we knew before is now superfluous. Now we must begin to work with new energies and new knowledge, and put them into practice. You can only apply this by first assimilating it into your heart and soul, and then loving it into form, and living it joyfully. And this is where the real work, the calling, and the purpose of co-creation begin. And indeed, the sun children arise, returned. Tunia. Play Jenga with your conceptual towers, dearest brothers and sisters. Tunia here. I love you so much. Life on Earth is often incredibly hard, painful, and confusing. You are deceived from all sides, and it's a struggle just to meet your basic needs. I can hardly imagine how tough life on Earth can be. Therefore, I have great respect for those who have woken up, or partially woken up. At the same time, when people come from a situation that is unbalanced in one direction, they usually overcompensate and end up in an unbalanced situation in the opposite direction. This is the pendulum effect. Mainstream society is very unbalanced, so when people enter the spiritual community, they usually swing to another extreme. In mainstream society, bad things keep happening and you have no control over them. Then, in the spiritual community, the pendulum swings to the idea that literally 100% of what happens to you is your doing. You create 100% of things combined with free will creates a logical contradiction. If I have free will, then I can choose whether or not to do something that involves you, and therefore you are not 100% creating the occurrence or non-occurrence of that event. My free will matters too. If you want to argue that whether I do that thing or not is orchestrated by your soul, then you are basically saying I don't have free will, which is false. I have free will. Moreover, are you really willing to accept the idea of being manipulated by someone else's soul when it comes to taking actions that might affect that person? Furthermore, if everyone else were 100% creating their own reality, then compassion would be meaningless and robbing others would be permissible, which contradicts what all the great masters say. Yes, to some extent you create your reality, but not 100%. The statement you create your reality 100% is just a pendulum overswing. Second, mainstream society acts as if everything happens by chance. The spiritual community, in contrast, exaggerates by claiming that everything happens for a reason / that things are always for people's highest good. But if you really believe that, why don't you leave your front door open at night? If someone breaks in while you sleep, There's a reason/it's for your highest good, right? Similarly, mainstream society undervalues self-care. The spiritual community sometimes swings between creating a narcissistic bubble and excluding anything that doesn't feel good because it lowers the vibration. Now, some people might need to temporarily create a bubble of well-being to survive, and certainly that can be understandable, but it is not a high state of evolution to aspire to. Another point, mainstream society is not inclined enough to forgive. The spiritual community insists on forgiveness so much that it doesn't realize that forgiveness is something you only do after you've processed your emotions. Otherwise, you risk destroying parts of yourself. Also, mainstream society says it is our job that gives us value. The spiritual community sometimes acts as if a normal 9 to 5 job is beneath them, or at least as if anyone who works a normal 9 to 5 job does not automatically have a high level of consciousness compared to those who are not forced to do it. As a final example, mainstream society sometimes sees love as just a chemical reaction, like two monkeys mating. The spiritual community, on the other hand, sometimes swings in the direction where every new couple declares that the other person is their twin flame, the one person fully compatible with them in the entire universe. And although twin flames exist, far more people claim to be with their twin flame than actually are. If your worldview is simply a knee-jerk reaction to the imbalance of modern society, then you are not yet free from it. Unconsciously defining yourself in opposition to it still keeps you tied to it. It doesn't make you free. So what to do? First of all, whatever arises, observe it, and then ask yourself what lies beneath. If you observe, you can heal from the pain of living in mainstream society, and then you won't feel such a strong need to swing like a pendulum in the opposite direction. Embrace uncertainty. You don't have to have a ready answer for everything. Often, knowing things rationally is not that important. I don't know is a great statement, and it is often wise as well. The spiritual path involves the removal of illusions. If you are busy building new conceptual towers, even spiritual ones, then you are not really getting closer to your essence. True freedom and wordless bliss come when you have let go of enough concepts, not when you have built new spiritual conceptual towers. Hopefully, today we played a little Jenga with your conceptual towers. And if one day you have removed so many blocks that your conceptual tower collapses, well, that will be the beginning of a new you. With all my love, your star sister, Tunia. Lao Tzu. The remembering of balance greetings. I am Lao Tzu, master of balance, the compassionate one, the one who has compassion. I come to you today to remind you, to bring back to your mind the essence of balance, because this is your heritage. This is what you know but have forgotten. And when you forget, your body also forgets, your mind forgets. But, beloved, your heart never forgets because it knows the essence of who you are and what you have become. And in the being there is the doing. Come with me now to the babbling brook, the flowing one, the water that flows over the rocks. And as you watch and listen, the bubbles, the babbling, the murmuring will bring you to a place of remembrance that you too are the brook, you too the stone, the pebble, you too, the flow, the movement of the water. The thoughts that come to you, they flow, don't they? They flow into your mind and can flow out. But sometimes there are points where they have to go over a hill, as you might imagine it, and there are times when they get stuck and times when they need to be focused. Thoughts are like water. I ask you to focus on what flows. And by focusing, you too will flow, you will fly. As you walk on the earth, you become the flowing water. You become the sand beneath your feet. You become the bird flying in the sky. And who is guiding? The bird, the earth, and the water? The heart, because it knows the path you are walking and the path you always said you wanted to take. Are there obstacles along the way? Times when you forget what it means to be in this state of the midpoint of the infinity sign, the place of balance where there is compassion for all. This is what we offer you today, so that you may remain in this place. And when you encounter rocks that you must overcome like a stream does, know that this is part of the journey. And that if you allow yourself to be cleansed by the rocks, you will overcome them and be once again on the path of joy, doing what you are destined to do. So, I leave you. I bring you the blessings of balance, and in this balance resides the compassion that will always guide you. Farewell.